Okay, welcome back to episode number 8. Took a week off with the flu. Don't recommend. 0 out of 10. Um, yeah, so a couple things before we dive into this episode on Thanos. We are looking to change up some stuff around here. Looking at changing the name of the podcast. We've got a great name in mind. I don't know. Do we want to say that now, or do we want to wait? What do you
Guess we
think?
could. I guess we could drop it on him right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna name the podcast now "Hold My Beard," but with a little different spelling of some things. Now, if you're into anything GameStop or in that sphere of crypto, you'll know how to properly spell "hold," because you're a little stupid.
We call it regarded these days. That's the word that we use now is regarded.
Hey, look, we'll get into this on another episode, but my backyard fence was $6,000, and your boy paid for it with GameStop shares.
Oh yeah.
So I owe my 6 grand fence to the knowledge of our boy here, Merkrin.
You
Um,
know, I never got to ask you, bro. What was your wife's perspective on that entire situation?
she doubted me up until I paid for the fence.
Yeah,
And
it
then
makes
she was
sense.
like, "Wait, you're serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I just sold mostly everything and just got the money just like that."
Oh,
She's, and I invested 500 to $1,000 somewhere around there. So that was a great financial decision. Now, that decision could have been totally fucked if Thanos was real and really snapped his fingers and just evaporated into thin air. And that's what we're gonna get into right now. Uh, is Thanos correct on wanting to wipe out half of civilization? And I think when you first watch the movies, and if you're on the younger side, you tend to easily characterize Thanos into this supervillain category who does all things bad and nothing good. But even watching the movies, man, before I really paid close attention to Thanos, he had this very calm and eerie side to him. He was never really truly pissed off. My man just cold, calculated, just doing his thing, focused on his one mission, solely the wipe out of half of the population. What do you think, bro? Think he was right?
so I mean, I would argue yes, but I'm going to argue it more from a logical side.
Mm.
Because I think the opposite side of that, like looking at it from more of an emotional, is you're not going to think that he's in the right at all.
Okay.
But when you think logic, like his home planet being Titan, um, was running out of resources because of population, and he was one of the first people of his planet to come out, kind of warn everybody about it. Like, hey, we're kind of coming to this head of like we might run out of enough resources for our civilization, and the planet ended up just kind of falling apart because everyone thought he was crazy at the time.
Yo.
So that's kind of where you get the whole. It kind of paints that picture in your head of like, oh, that's why he thought the way that he did because he saw what happened to his home planet, and then it kind of moved on to Earth.
Yeah, I see a little bit of that now. A little bit of that now, man. I mean, there will be a time when us as humans run out of shit. I mean, we won't be here. I mean, that's not some like crucial. We've got years left, but we're. I'm on the side of that. Humans are parasites too. When it
Well,
comes to when you look at Earth as like a living vessel, and we're a bunch of fleas taking everything, sucking the life source out of something, and just trying to survive. That's all we're trying to do. But half the people, you think half the people is necessary? We're not like I want to make 30% disappear. Why do you gotta be half? I guess for the movie that makes sense though.
it does for a lot of reasons. I don't know if you want me to get real deep into the whole lore now or later, but you
Uh,
know,
Double.
there's a lot of reasoning for that. At the center of these planets, like in the Marvel universes, there's this being called a celestial, And
Oh
what
yeah.
these things do is they get in like the core of the planet and they lay like an egg. But the problem is it takes thousands of thousands of years for it to hatch. But when it does, it completely destroys the whole planet in the process of it.
Ooh,
So what ended up
nice.
kind of happening in the comics was that when Thanos came to Earth, he could sense that there was a celestial that had laid an egg in the center of the planet. And when he snapped his fingers, he actually saved the Earth because the Earth was within like a couple years was about to just explode from this egg hatching. So if you look at it from that logical side, makes sense, right?
The
You know,
Avengers 3, all of it's useless because the egg hatched. Oh, man, that would suck. What a great way to end the movie, though. All
yeah,
right, we saved the planet. Egg hatches. Fuck.
I don't think the Avengers movies really got into that so much because I
You
think it would have
can't. It's
been
bad for movies, right?
it would have been hard to translate in a way that the fans would have actually liked because then it kind of paints you into this corner of like having to like Thanos. And I think the whole idea of giving you an option of how you view him is a lot better for the movie in that regard for sure.
Yeah, I think that watching him in that scene where they portray him in his little hut, peacefully living out his days, and to my knowledge, he himself was up for the 50-50 dice too, right?
I
Wasn't
believe
he
so.
like not knowing if he'd be a part of that half?
To my understanding, yeah, I think that was
So I mean, I agree with him, man. And I've had this debate before with people where, well, what if it's your family? Okay. I mean, if all my family disappears, I know what I'm doing. Um, you know, but I think that he had a valid point in the calmness that this dude has. The entire movie series that he's in is crazy. That's what really makes me go like, wait, man. Like even Gamora on getting the Soul Stone, like it broke dude's heart, but he didn't miss a beat to push her ass off that cliff. Didn't
yeah.
even
Well,
think about it. Just drug her over there and said, I
you got to
mean,
think about like the level of morality he's dealing with though. He's not only dealing with like the whole
right,
Earth might be destroyed or Gamora's planet might be destroyed. This whole celestial concept applied to like the whole universe. So when Thanos snapped his fingers, it wasn't just for Earth, it was for everything. So he
right.
cut the whole universe's life in half basically. Like all half of everything living was just gone. And he saved the universe, but then the Avengers undid it and it just reset the whole cycle.
I wonder if, I mean, you know, I think the movies, I think they killed the right Avengers off at the end of Infinity War because, Spider Man was like a meme forever. But his really like bothered me, but because of the actor they had playing Spider Man for the Avengers was really the young baby face kid, really big do good guy. Keeping Iron Man there was beautiful because he's a dick. And it's like, of course it'd be Spider Man dying, Iron Man sitting there chilling. All the like the nice all the nice Avengers were like withering away. And
Well, I
that
mean,
made
you
it
knew that
awesome too.
you knew that was they were gonna do that in a way that was
Yeah.
gonna tug at your heartstrings. They wanted to make that really impactful, and I think they did a
I
good
don't
job
feel
with it.
so good, Mr. Stark. Oh, oof.
So I
Man,
think
but yeah.
another important way of looking at this is what Thanos did wasn't intentional in terms of saving Earth, and it was because he had that foresight of the Celestials having laid their eggs in the core of the planet, so he knew what was about to happen. So
Well,
he
his
was
his whole thing too was that with half of them gone, that the other half would be stronger, right? Not just making space and and saving the planet, but like there's he had his own logic too that everybody would be stronger for it, which
yeah.
is what a giga chat, man. Thanos is.
And I think like one of his biggest like curses as just the knowledge that he had because like he was arguably the only like person in the whole immediate universe that knew about the whole celestial thing on that level.
So why not just I mean, I guess because of the movies, right? But let's say we can write the movies how we want, right? Do you just have him coming out and explaining that shit to people? Like, yo, look, I know this is fucked up, but like, we got a problem here, right? And maybe way easier just to go to the Avengers and say, hey, I don't want to fight, but your plan has got like 2 years.
I think the most interesting way they could have done this is they could have done where the Doctor Strange looks and sees like all the outcomes. He could have explained his reasoning for why it was so unlikely as being that a celestial was at the core of the Earth.
Yeah, you think he knew? He had to have. He's Doctor Strange, right?
I mean, I would think so. Just based off of in the comics what he knows, not just on like the physical plane of the Earth, but the actual knowledge of the entire universe. I would assume he would, because he can see, like as shown in the movies, he can see things before they happen.
Right. 4 million, 14 million possibilities.
Yeah, it wasn't a flat number. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like an incredibly unlikely outcome.
I wish it would have played out a couple without telling us that we were gonna like play out some, and we think it's like the real thing happening.
Oh, like in I don't know how avid you watch Rick and Morty. Like, are you?
No, I don't. No.
There's an episode that they do where the main characters, like, it thrusts you into it just like in the middle of the show, like no explanation what's going on, and then like all of a sudden you just see all the main characters within the first 30 seconds die. Like they'll get shot in the back of the head, and you're just like sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? And then it just cuts again, and then it's back to all the main characters again. And this happens like over and over and over and over and over again.
Edge of Tomorrow, man. With
yeah.
What's his name? Oh God, who plays in Edge of Tomorrow? Tom Cruise.
I don't want to like commit to that because
Tom Cruise.
Is it? Yeah,
Tom Cruise is a great movie. It's just like Groundhog Day over and over again. But yeah, so I mean, I guess there's no debate for us because we both are in the agreement that Thanos was 100%. Not, I mean, I wouldn't say he's 100% correct. He definitely could have went about doing it, I think, a little bit differently. But I guess when you're going to have to retrieve the Infinity Stones, it's going to be a pain in the ass, and no one's just going to hand them to you.
Well, I think
was the hardest for him to attain.
Probably the Time Stone.
You think time? Wasn't it just given to him? Am I wrong on that?
I don't think
Didn't Doctor Strange just straight up give up the Time Stone because he knew he had to?
I see. This is where I get confused because in the comics, I don't recall it happening the same way that it did in the movie. So maybe you're right.
In the movie, he because remember when the Hulk is up there, Banner's up there talking with that chick, and she's like, he's like, yeah, Doctor Strange just gave it to him. She's like, what the hell? Yeah. She explains that like if he gave it to him, there was a reason, something he saw. Like he needed him to get all the stones, basically, because there's one possibility he had them all, and Tony had to take him off his hand. So if he didn't give it to him, he would have killed. He had somebody he was gonna kill if he didn't get it. I forget who that was. No response.
Was it Vision?
No, because Vision had a different stone. The Power Stone.
It was one that was in his forehead. Or
the most disappointing character to me.
Well, they did him. They did him like they did Bucky in a way, and you're
one of the only dudes that can wield Mjolnir, man. And somebody asked me that the other day. How many people can wield Thor's hammer? And I'm pretty sure it's Thor, Odin, Captain America, Vision. And there's one more. There's one more. Hela. I think his sister can too, right? Oh man, fucking Mad Titan.
Well, here's an interesting perspective. If you were in Thanos' position with the information that he had, what are you gonna do? Because it's kind of like it's a very drastic measure, right? That you're gonna take, but at the same time, if you don't take it, then everything ceases.
I'll tell you exactly how my story plays out in about 30 seconds. I'm taking the same route as Thanos, making the same choices. Where I'm going to have a problem, and where I'm going to fail 100%, is pushing my daughter off a cliff. I would not be able to see. I'm a big family man in the sense of like, this is a really shitty perspective, by the way, but I will watch the world burn if it means I get to watch it with my family.
I don't think that that's a shitty perspective. I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Like trolley theory and stuff, I'll run over 1 million people if it's my daughter that I'm saving. And I won't think twice about that. And I think most people, whether they admit it or not, probably feel that way. So when I get to the Soul Stone, I'm probably going to just say, well, this is it for the universe. You know, Avengers win. I'm not sacrificing my daughter, but here's the fucking fucked up part, bro. I'd probably sacrifice my wife. And that's probably like funny at first.
You know, no, it's not, because a lot of people share that sentiment. Like there's a study done, like in terms of attachment, what holds more weight, like the person you marry or your kid, and it's always your kid.
Always your child. Always. Yeah. Spouses are I'm replaceable. Like, you know, as far as like just like not your genetics, but your just down to your basic animal instinct. Like finding another partner is not overly hard, but it's very difficult to replace your unique child that's like made from, you know, you and somebody else. Like, that's a hard thing to replace. Impossible to replace. I think you have more kids, sure, but not like the same one you just had. And then like I'm always in this thing too, bro, like young versus old, right? I always save young people before old people. Right? Well, like if you're 60, you've lived most of your life, you're getting the trolley, right?
There's a reason why on, you know, boats and all that shit, when it comes to rescue, it's always women and children first when it comes to an emergency.
Yeah. You know why that is? You know why that is?
We're the expendable motherfuckers.
Kick all them off so the men can figure out the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I fucking love that meme, bro.
In peace.
Get
they're gone. Okay, get the beer. Let's figure this shit out. Holy shit! I couldn't handle that screaming.
Whole building's on fire. You're just like, all right, go get me a 12-pack real quick. Let's.
Oh my god, dude! That joke. I've read that joke years ago. This shit cracked me up.
It's still funny every single time I see it.
It is. It is. Okay, so look, we agree with Thanos to an extent, I'd say. I think the movies portrayed him fairly well. I mean, he never like overtly, he never like exerted himself like in these fights ever until the end. I mean, even like Star-Lord and shit fighting Iron Man. I mean, he's just like, okay, leave me the fuck alone. Let me just do my thing. He was never like a dick either.
No,
Iron Man was more of a dick than Thanos.
What really surprised me though is that they did do a ton of tie-ins to like, it seemed like they were going to tie all the Celestial stuff in to the Avengers movies because of Eternals, because that's where you first hear about the Celestials. Mm-hmm. And then you get it again in the Guardians movie when you find out that Star-Lord is, or fucking, what is it? That one guy is Star-Lord's dad, that Celestial guy. Mm-hmm. Ego. There we go. Ego is his dad. And that guy's a Celestial.
I forgot that Ego was Star-Lord's dad. Mm-hmm. You get Ego as your dad, and you just get 2 blasters in the movie. That's what you get. Poor bastard. Okay, so Thanos was right. He should have won. Half of us should be sitting here right now. But let us know what you guys think. I think that most people in our age bracket are going to think that Thanos was correct on his idea.
One closing thought, though, I just want to touch on real quick.
Go for it.
Not only did Thanos know that from experience, like his planet Titan, it falling apart due to them not doing something about that whole Celestial and overpopulation problem, he also tried the solution on Gamora's planet, and it worked. So he knew, like, not only like would it work, but he knew, you know, he was premeditated and right in that regard, is what I'm trying to say. That he knew from experience that would fix it.
His little knife.
Yeah, isn't there just? I always thought that knife was cool because it's like a ritual knife. It has like blood in the middle of it.
Yeah, I forget what he says though. Balance.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
As all things should be. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So that's the truth though, man. Like our world's out of balance. I'm not saying we need to kill half the people, but we're like here in my city, man, we're building so fast without upping the infrastructure. And it's so shit.
Well, I think
houses sink in the hurricane. They go, "Oh my god, what happened to my house?" Well, you bought in a swampland for cheap. What do you want?
I think that's concerning for a plethora. Obviously, I don't want to sidetrack the podcast too far away from what we're trying to talk about, but I think a lot of it's a reflection of the economy and there, things being so overvalued. They just continue to build houses, but who the fuck's going to move into them? It's the same.
Beer prices low. Okay. All right.
It's the same shit with the commercial real estate, man. We can get into all this in another episode, but
yeah,
it's
sounds good. Thing. All right, guys, let us know what you think about Thanos, and you're drinking your Japanese whiskey while I'm drinking my American beer.
This shit is killer, bro.
Green bottle. Listen, Yingling, you want a sponsored episode? You let me know.
Okay. I still haven't found it near me, bro. It's just I haven't seen it. At every liquor store I go to, I look for it, and I haven't found it yet.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out, tuning in. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on why Thanos was right, because we know he is. You know he is. All right, catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.